record, and we're on.
Okay.
So here we are. We love to work, I think you and I, but we also like to play hard.
Very true.
So I have with me today Brittney Calloway, who's our featured speaker for our upcoming expo. Say hi to, you already said hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
And I've caught up with you, and you're in Florida.
I am. I have come to Florida for the Labor Day weekend. So, yep, you caught me at a really great time.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, and you just shared with me a view of what's outside your window. Maybe you share with everybody else what you get to look at.
Yeah, this is what I get to wake up to in Florida when I'm down here. So my second home away from DC. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I don't want to take too much time, but I do want to make sure people know a little bit about how we got connected, because sometimes it's amazing to me how through the power of professional networking, we kind of stumble upon some of the best people that can help us build up our real estate investing business. And when I heard a little bit about you, and you were connected with Charles Blair and Bina Cox Jones, that you've been to an REIA event out there and had some successes. So what we've got set up is we've got an expo that we do every year, and this year it's October 26th, 27th, and 28th, and we've enticed you to come to beautiful Des Moines, Iowa.
I'm so excited.
To spend most of the day with us on Saturday.
Yes, I will be there.
That's fantastic. So I won't spend too much more time. Let me just ask you, how did you get started?
Yeah.
And then you're buzzing along at a pretty good rate, but why don't you just share with some of our people how you got started?
Absolutely. So I was actually a teacher. So straight out of college, I did a program called Teach for America, and I taught in Washington, D.C. And so my very first year, I was teaching math, even though I was an English major in college. So don't know how that those wires got crossed. But then actually I switched over halfway through the year of teaching math into a self-contained resource class. So I taught, you name it, reading, writing, math, behavior, gym, all in the same class, all day from 7:15 to basically 4 o'clock, because I was in a charter school. And from there, it was really interesting. I was working with actual families that were going through foreclosures, evictions, and kind of got introduced to the housing market that way. And a family of mine actually went through a really intimate struggle with the IRS, where the IRS actually put a tax lien on their property by accident, and where they were about to face a foreclosure. So I immediately just got a friend involved to help. And it became such a big, it was in the news, it was press releases around it. And so people then started reaching out to me saying, hey, can you help me with my real estate issues? And I was like, again, I'm just a teacher. I really don't know. I'm happy to, make connections with people who I know in my network who can help. And the one that really got me involved was when I was with the family and we were sitting down at a meeting, and the company was sitting with them saying, hey, this is what we want to offer you. And I just started saying, hey, can you, pay for their moving costs? Can you pay to not have them have to file for bankruptcy? What more can we give this family so that they can really make a smooth transition? And it was funny because as I went to the bathroom, I came out, this guy pulled me to the side and said, okay, so tell me, what's your wholesale fee? And I was like, wholesale fee? He was like, what do you think my wholesale fee should be? Like, I don't know. And then started to, really look things up, and then, realized, wow, maybe this is something I, really should be doing professionally, just by being an advocate for people who are having housing needs issues. So fast forward, I went to Georgetown, worked at Georgetown, and I thought I was going to go to law school at Georgetown, but didn't end up going. And I worked really closely under a real estate attorney. Because I thought that's what I wanted to do, was maybe go into real estate law. But decided it wasn't for me. And I just really thought that I could, really do this full time. If I essentially, just quit my job and just went full turkey. I do not recommend that to people, right? You should have reserves in the bank. There should be a better plan in place for what I had. But something about me that I will say is that I absolutely, it really pushed and motivated me, because once I quit my full-time job to do this full-time, I had, full 2 deals under contract that were both rehabs. And I was going to make, double what I was making at Georgetown. And I was like, this is it. I'm in. This is going to be the sink and win. And I quit my full-time job. I was ready to go. And then 2 weeks before the closing, the hard money lender that approved me actually backed out of the deal. So I essentially, I lost those 2 rehabs. I was no health insurance, no paycheck. And so I counted the money before I actually got the money. Lesson learned. But it really pushed and motivated me. So I revved it up. I started doing, really guerrilla tactics with marketing, and landed wholesale deals, rehab deals, and, just kept pushing forward from there. And now, fast forward, have been investing in 5 different markets. I have rentals that are all in Jacksonville, big portfolio in Jacksonville, Florida. Here in Fort Lauderdale, I do rehabs with my partner. Orlando, we're starting new builds. Columbus, Ohio, which is obviously in Vina's backyard, do flips as well as rentals up there. And then in the DC market, the DMV area, so DC, Maryland is where I'm also primarily based, where I'm also doing deals as well. So it has really been an awesome journey. And, my first year, I tell people, you can make those 6 figures in your first year if you just really put, that time and consistency into it. And so, yes, you can scale up. I use a lot of virtual assistants, which I'll be talking about on Saturday. It was just me and a team of 5 virtual assistants that, have really cranked the wheels to now where, yes, it makes sense to bring on employees. But at the time, really me and a team of 5, we're really out there just, doing marketing. They did all my analyzing of my deals, keeping me on track budget-wise, helping me pay contractors. So all of them really did help with the scaling of my business. That was a mouthful.
Well, no, but that's a very good intro, because one of the reasons I started Two Rivers REIA way back in October of 2006 is that I wanted to, number one, prevent any of the mistakes I'd made 25 years before.
Absolutely.
And I had just gotten back into selling real estate, and I said, I want to get back into investing, but I don't want to make those mistakes. So I decided, well, I will join with National REIA, and what we'll do is we'll build the group large enough that we can attract people who will come to town and just spill their guts.
Yeah.
Because you typically wouldn't have to worry about competing with anyone here. So you can share your secrets and your ideas and your actual.
I do it, and that's what we have a meetup in in Baltimore, which is a meetup as well. And so I tell people all the time, and this is something people don't like to hear, but I'm going to share it anyway. But I will
well, don't tell. They don't want to hear it. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I want to motivate people though, so I will pour my secrets and energy into anybody who asks me. So people know me. I'm very transparent. I have nothing to hide. So even in my own market, we share every single strategy. And the reason is because, and I learned this, I didn't know that this was true, but only, a third of the people are actually going to do what you tell them to do. So I challenge.
That's amazing. And the people that worry about competition, you might as well just give that up, because there are so many opportunities.
There are.
That's the thing. And opportunities come across your desk probably all the time. And at first you didn't have any capital, right? But then you told me that not too long into the business, you're just sharing it a little bit ago, you had a couple of deals working and you had a lender back out. So that motivated you to find, hey, I better go deeper with how much private investment capital I have available. So how did that work out?
Yeah, so that's what I started doing. So the hard money lender backed out, and I started pitching for private money. So of course I got many no's, right, when I first started, and then pitched it to a good enough pool of investors who eventually just said yes. And so landed my first, I'm trying to remember even who was my very first lender. But I think I first started out with just $35,000, which was enough for a Baltimore property. And, built that. And then once you do right by somebody and they gave me money and I put it right back in their account, they started telling people. Right. So a lot of my lenders have now called me and said, hey, I heard you have been investing, Jim's money, and I'd love to, what do you have? What are the rates, or what projects can I potentially get on? So, good business also just travels. So, and then I'm here in, I do have the luxury of being in Florida, and Miami is a very, luxurious city with a lot of people with a lot of cash. So two of my lenders, also have given me millions of dollars to do some of the deals as well. So I found some really great lenders also out in this area that have been helping me fund projects in Jacksonville, Florida, in the smaller secondary markets as well, because they know they're going to get a good return as well. So yeah, it's been going.
And you because when you start out and you get going, you find out there's these opportunities and you get a lot of leads going. But you mentioned something that is the primary reason that I think I wanted to bring you to Des Moines, get you in front of our people, because if there's one thing that'll bog you down, it's not having a staff, and you don't want to hire people because they're expensive in the beginning. But you've kind of like cracked the code on how to find virtual assistants.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was when I first started out. Even before I quit my full-time job, I had hired a virtual assistant. That was like one of the first things I did. I read a great book that really just talked about, there are 3 levels in this business, right? You can start out as a technician who does everything in the business. And we all have to start out that way. That's how you learn. That's how you fine tune and perfect your skills. Then you can really move up to be, once you've done it enough times, you can move up to be a manager, right? So now you can really hire people underneath you to do those technical aspects of the business. And then, you move up to be an entrepreneur, where now it's just me focusing on ideas and really carrying out the vision. And I have a lot of people who, do the grunt work, the daily tasks every day. And once you kind of create, a system and you're doing it consistently, right? So I have people that are working every day in my business, even now on a Monday. People are doing the same things. They're helping with the marketing strategies, our online presence, social media platforms. So they're really working, and I can be here with you, and people are still working in my business. So absolutely. Yeah, no, I will talk about
Don't you just love that, though? When you wake up in the morning and you find out people sent you money overnight.
It's very true. I get a lot. That is my favorite, right? You just wake up and it's just it's there. And that, and now I do that. I buy properties sight unseen. Not me personally. I have people obviously go and look at them, but I've done properties. Hey, how are you? Oh, it's okay. Sorry. But I've had people literally, I've basically put in offers on projects, done the rehabs virtually, and have sold them virtually, right? So me being here and not having to be on the ground to really monitor it. So there are rehabs that absolutely, and rentals that I have bought that are being managed with tenants in them, and that I've never seen. So,
yes.
Absolutely. Well, I've never seen personally inside, the full picture, but of course I have project managers who are on the ground doing that for me. But yeah, that's very possible.
Fantastic. So you're going to come to beautiful Des Moines, Iowa. Actually, it's Johnston. Last week in October, we have a 3-day event. I don't know how soon we've got you scheduled, but I know for sure we got you 90% of the day on Saturday.
Yes, I'm there on Saturday, bright and early.
Fantastic. And you're going to share with them a lot of your tips, tricks, and techniques.
I am. Absolutely. It's a full day, so they better have their pens and papers ready.
Fantastic. Well, I just really am looking forward to you spilling your guts on these virtual assistants, because if there's one thing that can make a difference in a business person's life, it's attracting a few people around you who can help you get your business ideas launched. Ideas are cheap. They just flow through our brains. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, but somehow you got to execute.
And that's what I was going to say. If you bring me out there, that's all I ask, right? Is that I'm going to pour my heart out. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to tell you everything that I'm doing, and the different business models I'm doing that will hopefully spark some interest of the different ways that I'm making money in real estate. But all I ask is that you just execute what I tell you to do. And truthfully, I can't imagine that you wouldn't have success if you don't. So yes, absolutely.
Well, fantastic. I know it's a holiday. I wanted to catch up with you. You're down in Florida today.
Yeah.
I won't hold you up any further. So we are looking forward to it, really. Having you come to beautiful Des Moines, Iowa. You're going to love it. Have you been to Des Moines?
I haven't. This is the first time. I'm so excited. I'm going to actually stay a couple of days so I can also see the attractions as well.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, we're going to try to hold back the snow.
Yeah.
So that hopefully it'll be fine. And we're going to have a great time at the Hilton Garden Inn in Johnston, Iowa. And folks, I'm just thrilled that we're going to have Brittney with us. Don't delay on getting registered, because the way things are going right now, we've just had quite a build-up for this, for a lot of support from our vendor sponsors. We've got wonderful people that are already signing up because they're excited about. We've got a spectrum of people. Do you know Jeffrey Taylor, Mr. Landlord?
Yeah, I actually just went to his boot camp a couple months ago. So yeah, he's a man. He's been helping me bring in things internally, right? I was using a property management company, and he really motivated me to bring it all in-house, right? So I can save more money on the table. But he's excellent, phenomenal, excellent speaker. So yeah, that's great. I'm excited to see him there.
Well, hopefully that'll happen. In the meantime, we're going to focus on you for Saturday, and you have a great time in Florida. Thanks so much, really, seriously, Brittney.
Of course, absolutely. And if there's any questions, always feel free to just let me know. I'm happy to help.
Okay. We may visit with you again between now and then. We got 7 or 8 weeks yet, and
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, you have a good Labor Day.
Okay, you too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.